Hey, Quants, it has been a few days since I've been on, so just going to do a quick rundown on the market, and then I want to get back to building. So I've been in the middle of doing a bunch of website updates and things like that, so want to get back to that quickly, but for now, but just wanted to come back to the markets here and share with everybody my thoughts. So first of all, the economic data that we have coming in this week will be the core inflation rate, and so that should be interesting because we did not get any, I believe we didn't get any of that data in October, and some of the data was apparently is never going to come out, and so we'll see how that affects the markets moving forward. Now let's just jump into the markets. So if we're looking at BTC, first thing I want to point out is the Gann Swing trend while it was looking bullish after we got that last break of the previous pivot high and we had put in place an uptrend that has now broke after we broke through this last pivot low, which is what I mentioned would be kind of the first indication that this swing trend is not going to hold. This looks like it's pushing down pretty nasty. So there's I don't really have anything conclusive to say at this point about the market other than, yeah, we're just kind of sitting sideways here. I have seen some people calling this as a bull flag, which could be, I mean, I could definitely see where you would pull that pattern out. If that was the case, then it's already failed. If that bull flag pattern is going to play out, then I believe we're looking somewhere closer to like 70,000 or something. If you take the pull from that flag and then stick it on the end here, it's going to end up somewhere around 70,000. So looking at the oscillators, and again, I've done this probably hundreds of times, but on videos, I've probably only done this a few times so far. So I don't want to say that this is something you should be front running, but this is the things that I tend to look out for because I do like divergences. So especially in the context of the master strategy, it looks like there is a potential for a divergence to form if this price were to go lower than the previous. And this, if you're playing off of closes, it's really not that much farther here. So 84,600, if we get below there, and we're currently sitting at 85,400, so if we just dropped another $1,000, there would be the potential based off of closes to set in a drive of bullish divergence if it reversed there. Again, that's a lot of speculation at this point because there's no way to know if price is going to actually turn around once price drops below that. And the only way to know would be wait for some confirmation for price to turn around. So nothing right now is saying, yes, this is totally a buy target and we should buy something right here. But I just want to put that on everyone's radar that both the stochastics are sitting up fairly high compared to where they were on the previous low. And same with the MACD, there is a potential to quite easily put in some, without price having to move too much farther, to put in some bullish divergence here. Now, one thing similar to the trend strategies, bullish divergence and bearish divergence doesn't always play out. It could, probably fails a lot more times. In my own testing, it generally does fail a lot more times than it does play out. But even if it plays out, you might just I say it generally fails, but I guess what I'd say is like the magnitude or the amplitude of how far it plays out is very inconsistent. And so just because we were to get that doesn't mean that we're going to shoot off to the moon, right? If we did get some reversal here, we could just see price move up very slightly and maybe even just get back up to where it was around 25,000, maybe just a little bit below here where prices were, and then drop off again. And then you could still argue that played out because you got an upwards price movement. So that's the only thing I'm really seeing right now. Just kind of waiting for some further price action to develop here. It looks, you could also argue that this is developing a range here. And so if you're going to play the range, we're pretty close to the bottom of the range. So that would be another potential argument to see some upward price movement. And again, only if you're talking about a range, then maybe the price range is only going to move up to about $93,000, $95,000, and you'd still be in the context of that range. So, nothing crazy happening here, just waiting to see how the markets develop, and I think the inflation numbers could have an impact on that. I think everyone's hoping to see that Christmas rally still. We're getting pretty close to that time. But at this point, it looks like the market's just kind of been kind of floppy here. Floppy, I mean just flat, not really doing much, just kind of like uninteresting. But, that's the way it tends to be most of the time anyway. So hope everyone is doing well in the holiday seasons, and we will see you on the next one. Peace, quants.